Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always. What are we exploring today?
Today, we're heading to Middle-earth, but not for battles or quests this time.
Mm.
We're digging into something a bit deeper. The unlikely friendship of Legolas and Gimli.
Ah, from the Lord of the Rings. Interesting choice.
Right. Everyone knows this iconic duo, but our sources, they reveal some fascinating stuff connecting them to Tolkien's bigger ideas about, overcoming prejudice.
And finding unity, right. Classic Tolkien themes.
Exactly. We've got articles, essays, all sorts of stuff diving into everything from the ancient history between elves and dwarves
Oh, yeah, that goes way back.
to these specific events that transformed them from, well, not exactly friends at the start,
Definitely not. More like predisposed to dislike each other.
to a bond that actually reshaped Middle-earth.
Now, that's a friendship with impact. You can't understand them, though, without knowing all that baggage they bring to their first meeting.
Baggage.
Centuries of mistrust, prejudice, fueled by events like the sack of Menegroth.
Okay, hold on. For those of us who haven't spent years, on Tolkien's legendarium.
Fair enough. It's a big world. The sack of Menegroth is a devastating event in elven history. It's detailed in the Silmarillion.
So what exactly happened?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The dwarves of Nogrod, they attacked the elven city of Doriath.
Driven by?
Desire. They wanted those precious jewels the elves were known for. It led to a massacre, echoed through generations, cemented that deep distrust between the two races.
Wow. So the elves saw the dwarves as greedy, destructive.
Obsessed with material wealth, yeah. But it wasn't a one-sided conflict.
I was going to say, the dwarves had their own issues with the elves, right?
Absolutely. They saw the elves as aloof, arrogant, more concerned with beauty and nature than the practical stuff like crafting.
So by the time The Lord of the Rings takes place, these wounds, they haven't healed.
No, they become ingrained stereotypes, shaping how Legolas and Gimli see each other.
So basically, when they walk into the Council of Elrond,
It's like their ancestors are right there with them.
heavy stuff. Not exactly a recipe for a friendly first impression.
Not at all. In the books, Gimli practically bristles when elves are even mentioned.
He does have a bit of a gruff exterior.
He even makes snide comments about their supposed haughtiness.
Oh, I bet Legolas didn't take that lying down.
He's known for his quick wit.
And his loyalty to his people.
Exactly. He fires back with some barbs about dwarves and their whole mining obsession.
Tolkien really sets the stage for a clash of cultures.
Right from the start.
So how do they get past this? Was it just realizing they had a common enemy in Sauron?
That shared purpose. It's definitely a factor. Being in the Fellowship united against this overwhelming threat.
Forces them to work together.
Right. But it's not an overnight transformation. It's a journey. Certain events act as turning points.
I imagine the Mines of Moria play a big role there.
Absolutely. The mines, or Khazad-dû the dwarves,
Right.
they're a symbol of lost glory for Gimli. His grief over the fallen kingdom. It's palpable, and Legolas sees it firsthand.
They fight side by side against the orcs, too.
Proving their courage to each other. That shared danger, it forces them to rely on each other, to see past the stereotypes.
So, amidst the darkness, a flicker of understanding emerges.
They start to see each other as individuals, not just representatives of their races.
And that understanding grows as they continue, right?
Oh, yeah. The journey's just beginning.
Althorian, now that's a fascinating turning point. We see Gimli, the dwarf,
A supposedly gruff, practical dwarf.
completely captivated by the beauty of an elven realm.
And by Lady Galadriel, no less?
It's significant.
Yeah.
You have to remember, in the Silmarillion, the elf Fëanor coveted Galadriel's hair.
And was refused, which fueled tension between the two.
So to have Gimli, a dwarf, so moved that he asks for a strand of her hair as a gift.
It's a complete reversal.
I bet Legolas was surprised. Did he challenge his perceptions of dwarves?
Without a doubt, he sees past the gruffness, the stereotypes.
To Gimli's capacity for, what? Appreciation, respect.
Exactly. Despite all those ancient grudges, like stone by stone, they're building a bridge over centuries of bad history.
So we've seen hostility, grudging respect, a bit of understanding.
And their story, it doesn't stop there. Remember, this is a deep dive.
Oh, we're going deeper.
We're going to uncover more about their friendship, way more.
I'm ready. Where do we head next?
Let's go beyond Lothlorien. We'll see how their bond is tested and strengthened as they face even bigger perils.
The Paths of the Dead, Pelennor Fields.
All of it. Their trials reveal a loyalty that goes beyond simple camaraderie.
This is getting good. Let's get into it. So Legolas and Gimli, they've gone through the ringer together, their friendship forged in battle. But our sources point to some quieter moments,
Hmm.
moments that really reveal how deep their bond goes.
What's fascinating is how it evolves beyond just surviving, right? They start actively seeking out experiences that expose them to each other's cultures.
Like Gimli going to Fangorn Forest with Legolas.
Yeah.
That's a place deeply sacred to the elves.
Right, and Legolas returns the favor. He ventures into the glittering caves of Aglarond with Gimli.
That's a big deal. An elf entering a dwarven realm, especially one as revered as Aglarond,
It shows how far they've come. They're not just tolerating each other's cultures anymore.
they're embracing them, trying to understand what makes each other unique.
Exactly. It's like they're saying, your history is my history, your sacred places are mine too.
A powerful message about bridging divides.
Yeah.
But there's one moment that stands out as a symbol of their transformed
You're
relationship.
talking about Gimli's request for a strand of Galadriel's hair.
Exactly. What makes this seemingly simple act so significant? It's just hair, right?
No, not at all. Remember the historical context. We talked about Fëanor wanting Galadriel's hair,
And being refused, yeah.
which deepened the divide between elves and dwarves. Gimli asking for and receiving this gift.
It's huge.
It shows a massive shift, a symbol of acceptance, reconciliation, and it's initiated by a dwarf.
Wow, that's a great point. It really embodies Tolkien's theme of overcoming prejudice.
Right. And Legolas's reaction, that's key too.
How did he respond?
He doesn't scoff or dismiss it. He could have easily, given the history.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead, he's touched by Gimli's reverence for Galadriel. He sees it as a sign of Gimli's personal growth.
So it's not just Gimli who's changing.
Their friendship is transforming Legolas too. He's learning to see dwarves, maybe even the world, differently.
But their story doesn't end there, does it?
Nope, not even close. Their journey goes even further, beyond Middle-earth.
Wait, are you talking about Valinor? The Undying Lands?
That's right. After the War of the Ring, Legolas chooses to sail west.
Ah,
Gimli can't bear the thought of being parted from him, so he goes too.
no, that's amazing. It's incredibly rare for a dwarf to be allowed into Valinor.
Right. It's a realm primarily for elves.
It really shows how exceptional their bond is. Like, it's transcended their races, even life and death.
It speaks to the power of their relationship, not just for them, but for Middle-earth itself.
Tolkien's saying that true friendship can break down any barrier.
Even the most ancient, deeply rooted ones.
So we've gone from ancient grudges to this profound, world-altering friendship. What does it all mean?
That's the question, isn't it? Why does this relationship resonate with so many people?
It's more than just a fun bromance. It feels like it speaks to something deeper.
About the human experience, right. Our capacity to overcome prejudice.
Through shared experiences, understanding, respect.
It's a message of hope in a world that often feels divided.
It's a reminder that we don't have to repeat the mistakes of the past.
We can choose to build bridges instead.
But how do we apply that to our own lives? It's easy to get caught up in the everyday stuff.
Well, I think Tolkien had the answer. Empathy.
Being able to see the world through someone else's eyes.
To listen, not just to respond, but to truly understand.
So instead of getting defensive when we disagree with someone,
We take a moment to consider their perspective, their experiences.
but we don't have to agree, but we come to the conversation with the desire to understand.
To find common ground, even if it's just a tiny bit.
It's like that Tolkien quote, "Not all who wander are lost."
Maybe we need to be willing to wander outside our usual circles.
Engage with people who are different from us.
Who knows what we might find? New friendships, collaborations, or just a deeper understanding of the world.
It's interesting how the impact of Legolas and Gimli goes beyond the books, too. Peter Jackson's films really amplified their relationship.
Oh, definitely. They used humor, camaraderie to make it even stronger.
It's like their story resonated with the filmmakers so much they wanted to make sure it shined on screen.
And it worked. Those scenes where they're joking during battles or genuinely worried about each other.
They stick with you. They make it relatable,
Like if these two can get past centuries of bad blood, there's hope for us.
It's inspiring.
Their story's more than a charming side plot. It's a timeless message.
About unity, embracing diversity.
And the power of friendship to change the world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the question is, what will our own Legolas and Gimli story be?
What bridges will we build? What common ground will we find?
How will we use our understanding of the past to shape a better future?
Where friendships, not conflicts, define us.
Those are questions worth thinking about.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep building those bridges.
You never know what amazing connections you might find. So Legolas and Gimli, their friendship born from conflict, it became this symbol of unity, understanding.
Hmm?
But how do we take that epic fantasy lesson and make it, real in our own lives?
That's the challenge, right?
Ah.
It's easy to get inspired by grand gestures in books and movies.
Right. We're not fighting orcs anytime soon.
Exactly. So how do we find those Legolas and Gimli moments in the real world?
Yeah.
I think Tolkien gives us a clue. Empathy.
Empathy.
That ability to see the world through someone else's eyes, to really listen, not just to respond.
But to understand.
Exactly. It doesn't mean we have to agree with them.
Right, right.
But it means coming to the conversation wanting to understand, finding that common ground, even if it's small.
It's like that Tolkien quote, not all who wander are lost.
Maybe we need to be willing to wander outside our comfort zones.
Engage with people who are different.
You never know what you might find. Unexpected friendships,
Collaborations, maybe.
or just a deeper understanding of the world.
It's interesting how Legolas and Gimli's impact goes beyond the books. Peter Jackson's films, they really highlighted their relationship.
Oh, yeah. They used humor, camaraderie to make it even stronger.
It's like the filmmakers were so moved by their story, they had to make it shine on screen.
And it worked. Those scenes, them joking during battles, worried about each other.
They're memorable.
They make it relatable, aspirational.
Like, hey, if they could overcome centuries of bad blood,
Maybe there's hope for us.
it's a powerful message
Their story's not just a side plot, it's timeless.
about unity, embracing diversity.
And the power of friendship to change the world. So, as we wrap up this deep dive,
The question is, what will our own Legolas and Gimli story be?
what bridges will we build? What common ground will we find?
How will we use the past to shape a better future?
One where friendships, not conflicts, define us.
Those are questions worth pondering. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep building those bridges.
You never know what incredible connections you might find.